Good evening, everybody. Let me just check and make sure that we're live and we're in the right place. That would be a good start. So if you are watching this live, welcome and thanks for joining me. If you're watching this on YouTube or a recorded version on Facebook, then this is a recording of a live class that I'm going to be doing tonight. We're going to be making 12 different card designs, but I will be chatting back and forth with anyone who joins us. I can see people are joining us in the chat, so just bear with us if you're on YouTube or watching the recording. Okay, if you are joining me live, then do pop in the comments and say hello. Let me just find us. There we are. Just wanted to find us on Facebook. Let's turn some lights on as well so I can see the comments. Wonderful. Okay, so I hope everybody is okay tonight. I can see a few people starting to join, so that's great, and I'm sure the numbers will go up as we go along. But if you're watching on the recording, then as we go along through the cards tonight, because there's so many of them, there's lots of measurements and things, do feel free to kind of pause and rewind, or pause while you make a particular bit and then fast forward, or whatever you want to do is absolutely fine. Hi Mum, and hi Evelyn, because I know that Evelyn is at Mum's tonight, so she's not here on the other side of the table from me as usual. She's crafting at Mum's, so that's great. Hi Liz, lovely to see you. Hi. Okay, so let me start off by doing a bit about what you're going to need tonight, and then if you haven't got all your bits and pieces out, you can kind of gather those bits while I do a few other bits of kind of news and updates and stuff. Okay. So, first things first, we're going to be making this enormous stack of cards, 12 cards tonight, which is great. I'm not going to be stamping the sentiments or adding the bling, because I want to be able to show you the layouts for how you cut the layouts for all 12 of them. So if you want to do sentiments and stuff later, add any extra details and stuff, because you can make them as fancy as you want, you can make them as simple as you want, that's absolutely fine. So you're going to need, I'll just reach for mine, you're going to need your kit of bits and pieces with your patterned papers and your coloured card and everything. You're also going to need your trimmer, so hopefully you've got a cutting and scoring device, because you're going to need one of those as well. And you are going to, well, I've sent you in the emails, those of you who are crafting along, the cutting sheets as well for the cards. You don't need to have cut anything before we start, but these are really so that you can refer to the measurements as we're going along, and also so that you can repeat them again with other patterned papers that you've got. I will apologise now. I've made the measurements logical for the size of the card, and you will see what I mean as we go along, or the size of the piece of paper. So the measurements are in centimetres and inches, often combined even in the same card. Hi Marion, hi Dee. So I apologise that they are a bit mixed up. If you've got a stamping trimmer and scoreboard, you won't have a problem with that, because you'll have both measurements to hand. But you'll see as we go along that it doesn't make a lot of sense often to measure a piece in inches when the centimetres measurement is so much more logical and rounded up and everything. I thought rather than going into millimetres, and rather than going into kind of 1/16 of an inch and all that kind of nonsense, it was better to just mix them up a bit. So that's what we're going to be doing. All of the cards are either landscape or portrait, i.e. half a piece of A4 cardstock, cut down the middle and folded in half. It doesn't really matter which colour you have for which, just choose what you like the best. And you will also find that for some of the cards it won't matter whether it's landscape or portrait as well, but certainly the colours won't matter. So if you've cut a piece of A4 in half so that you've got 2 landscape cards, that'll be fine. If you've got 10 folds, that'll be fine as well. It will work either way. We will get round it, so don't worry. You're not going to use all of your papers, amazingly. You have got 12 different designs, but you won't use all your papers. And when I turn the camera around in a moment, I will show you how much I had left over from my 12 pieces of paper, so that you can see. And hopefully you've also found your raffle tickets, because we've got raffle prizes obviously tonight as well. So if you're still rummaging around for bits and pieces that you need, the only other thing you will need, actually, one other extra, apart from your scoreboard and trimmer and all your kits and everything, is you're going to need a punch. So I'm using this one, which is one of our new punches. Again, it doesn't matter too much what shape. Well, it doesn't matter what shape you use. If you can see on the front of all of our punches, we have a circle in the same colour as the punch. I'm using one that's that almost fills that circular shape, that sort of size. But actually, all you'll need to do if you don't have one that sort of size, if you've got one smaller, or if you're using dye, the only thing that you'll need to do is to size your sentiments to fit inside that shape. That's all. So, not too big a deal. And like I say, as we go through the cards, you'll see that you can zhuzh them up a bit. You can add lots to them. So you can add extra die cut elements, leaves and flowers and things like that. You can add a bling, obviously, from your collection. Any bits of bling will be fine that coordinate. You could add ribbon if you wanted to. There's lots of ways you can upscale it if you want to. But what I'm going to show you tonight is going to be the most basic version, so that everybody can do it, and then you can add more if you're into that and want to make it more. Okay. So while you're gathering those last few bits, I have a couple of bits of news to share with you. There is an email coming out tomorrow, my usual monthly roundup of what is going to be going on during August. There's loads of workshops in there. I'm really full in September with things for you to join in. So do have a good look tomorrow. Lots of them do need to be booked up in the next week or two, so that I can order the products. So please have a look, and if you'd like to join me, that would be wonderful. I would love you to. I've also got my Christmas date on there as well, and the Christmas workshop is now open for booking. So if you want to reserve your place, please do. And that is because, ta-da-da, this arrived in the post 2 days ago. This is the new Autumn Winter Mini. I am saying this and it's like 90 in the shade in my dining room here. I am absolutely roasting. But amazingly enough, yes, the Christmas catalogue is out. I can't show you the insides, as you all know, that's Stampin' Up rules. I can only show you the front cover at the moment. We'll get to the inside in September, don't worry. But if you are a demonstrator, and I know there's quite a few of you are demonstrators, you can order from this catalogue probably everything that's available inside here. You can order from Tuesday the 6th. So that's really exciting. So if you sign up to be a demonstrator, you get early access to everything. So if you're a year-round Christmas crafter, and I know lots of people are, you can get on and get going with those kind of bits. The other thing that's happening on the 6th, and you will get this in your newsletter tomorrow, is there is another amazing patterned paper sale. And the patterned papers we are using tonight, Thoughtful Journey, are on sale. They're going to be £9.99, reduced from £11.75, I think it is, along with a whole load of other really lovely papers. Quite a few of them we've used before. So if you've been looking at them and you're not really sure and you're thinking, oh, is it worth me buying a pack or not? Next week it'll be worth you buying a pack. So the sale lasts from the 6th of August to the 31st of August. Is there 31st in August? Yeah, 31st of August. And yeah, so that's great. And if you live close and you want me to order for you, let me know and I'll put an order in for you if you can collect from me. Otherwise, the usual route on the online store. Okay, let's get on with some crafting. We've got loads of cards to get through. So I'm just going to turn my camera around. Hold on a moment, it's having a small fit. A minute, there we go. Oh, hope that's gone round. There we go, that's better. Okay. So who is crafting live with me tonight? Let's have that first. Who's going to be joining me? I'll just show you all of the cards that we're going to be making. So some of them, as you'll see, kind of come almost as a pair because they've got a similar kind of design layout, similar style to them. So some of these we're going to be doing as pairs, like these, for example, and some of them are very unique. So, but lots of cards that we're going to be making. And I will try and do them in the order that they are on your sheet if you've managed to either print the sheet or if you've got it kind of ready to one side. So we'll try and do that too, so it's logical. But what I wanted to show you first is what you're going to have left over. So this is what I had left over from when I made my original samples. So all of these bits, and there are loads of them, are all going to be used in future projects. Even little bits like that I will be using, most definitely. I've got some die cut shapes, so loads of extras left over. I mean, that in itself, that would make an amazing Christmas card, don't you think? I think the design that we've actually got for that would be lovely as well, with a bit of glitter on the trees and stuff. So you're gonna have loads of leftovers, okay? So do not, I'm saying this at the beginning because I'm saying to you, do not throw away a single bit of this. Even those strips you can use on the old scrappy strip technique. So keep all of those bits in your kit, and we will, you can use those for other projects in the future. Okay, so let's find card number 1, which is going to be that lovely, the one that I think looks a bit like a Christmas card, or could be, which is this one here. Okay, so you're going to need half a piece of A4 card to start with. Let's see what colour patterned paper I gave myself first. I think it was a lilac kind of colour. So you're going to have a piece of patterned paper that looks a bit like that, with some foiling on it. You're going to need this piece, if I put the card over there, this piece of patterned paper to go with it. And you're going to need to find a coordinating sheet that will blend nicely with that. So I have used my the pale blue in the stack, which I think is, I want to say balmy blue, but I might be wrong with that actually. It might be, no, I think it is balmy blue. So that's what you're going to use. Right, so we've got, oh, everybody's crafting. Awesome. That's brilliant. Okay, so these are the pieces you're going to need. So we're going to just make our standard card base to start with. So half a sheet of A4. Now, if you're clever at this point, you can score 2 cards and make 2 card bases all in one go. So if you put your short side at the top and go to 10.5 centimetres. So this for me is my standard card base. Score it all the way down. So short side at the top, score it at 10.5, and then turn it round so the long side's at the top and cut at 14.9. So that's the measurement that's at the top of your sheet. So all card bases are half a piece of A4 cardstock folded in half, i.e. 14.9 centimetres by 10.5. Okay, and you can then use them either way around, either landscape or portrait. So that's what we're going for first. So I've immediately got 2 card bases. So I'm going to put one to one side. I'm going to use one, fold it in half and try and find my bone folder and amongst all my tools here. See, normally Evelyn's on the other side of the table handing me things. She'll be handing Mum things instead, I expect. There we go. For Marion's benefit as well, as a bell ringer, Evelyn's hands might be hurting Marion this afternoon or this evening. She's just rung her first peal, which is pretty impressive. I know you will know that. So once you've got your first card base folded in half, we're going to layer up with your piece of patterned paper that's kind of got the foiling on it, or in the kind of lovely sprigs and leaves. That's going to go down first, and then we're going to have a portion of this patterned paper that's going to make the lovely image in the middle. So what you then need to do is decide which bit of this paper do I like the most. Do I want the bit with the smaller trees, which is what I've used on this sample, or do I want the bit with the bigger amount of trees? So I'm going to do the opposite to what I did on this card. I'm going to use this side, and I'm going to cut that. And this is where we start to get into a bit of oh, Marion says, wow, well done, Evelyn. Into a bit of a mismatch of inches and centimetres, because we've done that in centimetres, and now this is going to be in inches. So it's 3 inches by 4 1/4. So I'm going to go 3 inches. Save that bit, remember, that's going to be another lovely card of the future. By 4 1/4. So again, at this point you need to decide, are you going to chop off the bottom or are you going to chop off the top? Which way round are you going to take off? So I'm going to take off that little bit of extra cloud at the top there. So you've then got 3 pieces. You've got your card base, your lovely bit of patterned paper with the foiling on it, and you've got your piece of patterned paper with your trees on it. Mum's saying only pretty impressive. Oh, sorry. Absolutely amazingly impressive is what I meant to say, obviously. And Mum says, thanks, Marion. I knew she'd do it. She's a superstar bell ringer. I knew she'd do it. And she's chip off the old block as well. And I don't mean me either. She takes after my mum, that's for sure. Okay. So you've got your 3 components, and now you can either do some stamping on top of your trees. So I stamped just a sentiment along the bottom, or you can leave all your stamping or adding your sentiments till later. But for this card, just so you know how I did it, I stamped straight onto the patterned paper. Hi Sally, no problem, you can do it on catch up, enjoy your visitors. Yeah, so I stamped straight onto the patterned paper for this one for me. But you can add a sentiment if you want to on a separate bit of paper, or you can stamp straight on. So for me, I am going to stick this one down using some tape. I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal, super quick tape. And you just need to get it right in the centre, or roughly in the centre of that foiled card. And this is all stuck flat down. We've got no 3D in this particular card. So no dimensionals, it's all flat down. And just make sure you've got a little border around the edge, obviously. So it looks nice and professional. There we go. So that one is card number 1, while I have a little slurp of my squash here. You know it's hot when it's even too hot for me to have a cup of tea, which it is at the moment. Okay, so how are you doing? Are we all together so far? Is everything okay? I'm not going to add any of my stamping, none of my sentiments. I'm not even going to add my bling. I'm going to leave all that till later. But what I will do is I will show you. I think I sent everybody some bling. But you might not have all the colours. So I will show you all the colours that come with this, the bling that goes with this set. Let's find a bit of white card so I can put it on there. There we go. So this is the bling that comes with this set, and it is, where have I got, there it is, what's it called? Oh, I've cut it up. It's called a trio of adhesive backed pearls. So you've got the lovely kind of purpley colour that goes with this particular, with this card and this these colours. You've got, what colour would I say that is? It's almost like a kind of pale turquoisey colour. And then you've got like a pumpkin pie orange at the end, and it's kind of a bit reddy orange because they're kind of pearlized as well, like they're like translucent almost. So they are really, really pretty colours. And they do go with all of the papers. There will be one of these that matches every bit of the patterned paper, so that's good. Okay, that's card number 1. I'm going to put that one to one side. Okay, the next one we're going to do is going to be this one, only it's 2. And the reason I'm doing these together is because you're going to interchange the patterned papers to create a whole card. So we're going to need, and if you're kind of, if I'm going too quick for you and you want to do like every other card or something, feel free. This is completely your evening. Do whatever works for you. So I'm going to use, to start with, let me find what that colour is even called, so you know, I cannot remember. I want to say mustard, but I know that's not the right colour. It just looks like mustard to me. It is, what is the colour of that card? It's one of the in colours. Oh, there it is. And it's wild wheat. Of course it's wild wheat. It's wild wheat, that colour. So that card. And then patterned papers. Let's find the papers that we need. We need the one that looks like, and obviously you can mix up the papers if you don't like the designs I'm using. Feel free to mix them. Right, that one. Do we need that one? No, not that one. It's not the one with the blue sky. It's this one. This one. The one with the wild wheat and the kind of greeny sky around it. And then we're going to have to turn them over to find the second piece, because it's that piece. So it's got kind of rainbow splodges on the front, and it's got wild wheat ink on the back. And it's these 2 sides of the paper that we're going to use. Okay. So I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to cut my card base in exactly the same way. So I'm going to move this one out of the way for now, but I can always bring it back into view if people want me to later, okay? But I'm going to move it out of the way for now so I don't get too confused, and we'll stack these 2 up on the side here along with the papers for now. So I'm going to do the same again to create my card base. So short side at the top, 10.5 centimetres, score it. And then long side at the top, cut it at 14.9 centimetres to get 2 card bases. So scoring at 10.5, cutting at 14.9, okay? Let's put that spare one to the side for the time being. Get my bone folder back in again. And I'm just going to crease that one. Okay. And then what we need to do is to cut our 2 pieces of paper, our patterned paper. So I will show you a really easy, quick way to do that. So as long as you've got your image paper on the top so that you can see what you're cutting, what's in scope and what's out, you can cut up to 3 pieces of patterned paper all together and you will still get a sharp edge. So let's get all of those bits out of the way a minute. Bring our trimmer back in. And we're going for this time what I call my standard base layer. Okay, so the measurements for my standard or base or first layer is 14.3 centimetres by 9.9. So I'm going to do the 9.9 bit first because I want it to be a portrait orientation card. So I've made sure that these two pieces of pattern paper are tightly together. I'm going to put it in at 9.9 and see, is that the image that I want, or do I want this side instead? I'm going to do it the other way around so I get a different, again, I get a different image to the original cards I've made. So I'm cutting it at 9.9, save these bits, don't get rid of those. And I'm going to cut a little bit off the top here. So 14.3, I'm going to cut that bit off the top there, save those bits as well. Honestly, you'll be amazed what you can use them for. So that is my first layer, but I've cut the pieces together for speed. So I've got both pieces cut to that first layer size. So just pause there a moment while anyone who's making these two cards, just if you give me some thumbs up when you've cut this piece, and then I'll show you how to cut the triangle out of it, the kind of slice through the middle. Lots of you will remember, I'm sure, we've done these a few times before, a kind of stack, slice and shuffle design. This is really just a variation on that. It's just that there aren't as many pieces. That's the only difference. But it is basically the same kind of idea, where you cut all the pieces together and then you swap them around and make them into a bit of a jigsaw puzzle again, so that you've got two of each on and then the pattern through the middle. So yeah, you just kind of jiggle them around a bit. So yeah, if you're doing this one or these two rather, and you have got to this stage of your design cut, 14.3 centimetres by 9.9, then give me a thumbs up and I will go on to cut the next bit. Okie dokie. Fabulous, got some thumbs up. Just give you another couple of minutes. And like I said before, it's absolutely fine if you're kind of doing every other card or something. Whatever works for you tonight is fine. You've got the measurements, you'll have the replay of this so that you can go back, rewind and do the cards you've missed if you want to. That'll be absolutely fine. Okay, let's show you how to stack and slice and shuffle then. Okay, so we are going to cut from this left-hand side, so just above, for me, just above this little thistle here, and I'm going to cut across diagonally to the right-hand side. You don't need to measure this. I'm just going to make the cut line go above the thistles. So for me, I've got a thistle at the top here and a thistle halfway down, and my first cut line is just going to go straight across the top of those thistles so that the thistles fall below the cut line. Okay, my second cut line is going to be from beneath the head of that thistle, and I'm going to come down to roughly halfway, so roughly the middle of that image, so roughly in the middle there. And then I'll have 3 pieces, but I've got a double layer, so I'll have 6 pieces. Okay, so let's show you what I mean. So I'm going to put it in the tray so that when I line it up from top to bottom, and if I put a ruler over the top, you'll see what I mean. If I put the white bit of the ruler So that's the trough where I'm going to cut, and I want to cut just along that edge. Okay, so I'm just lining it up, put that down and just slice it. Keep them together, just put them to one side for the time being. Keeping this bottom layer together is really important. Because you don't want them to separate at this stage, because you want them to be cut exactly the same size. So then my next is I'm going from about halfway along here, along the bottom, so halfway along this bottom line here, roughly, doesn't have to be exact, to just below that thistle there. So I'm just going to move that into the trough and move the halfway line in as well. Cut there. And then you have your 3 pieces. Let me get that out of the way a minute and I can show you what that looks like. So you've now got your 3 pieces. So that slice that you've taken out of the middle sort of looks a bit like a school tie, I always think. Looks a bit like the shape of a tie. And then you want to shuffle. So you're going to move one piece to the side, move the piece underneath to the side, move the piece on the top to the side, and then you can put them all back together again. And you've got your 2 card fronts that will then become, the right way around, yeah, these 2, once you've added some bling. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just stick them down, that's all. So just for speed, I'm going to use wet glue on these. Because it also means if you use wet glue on this particular one as well, you can like slide the pieces around so that you can butt them really close up next to each other and make sure that you haven't got a gap between the different parts of the design, which is obviously is not what you want. You want them to match up perfectly and line up perfectly. So if you're using wet glue, it's really easy to slide them around and get them lined up. So this piece, for example, I want it to slide right up into that corner, just as if it was a single piece of paper and not 2 separate images. So there's no space between. So just slide it right up close so it's completely flush against the other one. Can you see you've got no gap in between those pieces, but equally they're not on top of each other either, they're not layered on top. And then I'm going to do the same with the other piece. So again, get my other card base in, fold, crease, because I've already done that scoring, remember, when I did it all in one go. And then a bit of glue again on the back, and exactly repeating the exact same process. It's just the pieces around the other way, that's all. And the great thing about doing this with a piece of less patterned paper as your second image, so where we've got that watercolour wild wheat sheet, is that it gives you the opportunity to place your sentiment in a different place. So then you get a completely different look to your second card from your first card, just by placing your sentiment and potentially your bling as well in a different place, or maybe using a different size sentiment, or a different punched image or die cut image or whatever to go with it. But if you'd used lots of heavily patterned paper, so two patterns, perhaps both with the flowers or thistles or whatever on it, then you might struggle to show that the definition of the split pane, but also knowing where to put your sentiment is a bit more of a challenge, really. So just sticking those together like that, and then there we go, those are the finished ones. So I've got a smaller image but on the top of the wild wheat watercolour paper, a larger image on a larger sentiment on the wild wheat watercolour paper, because I've got a bigger space down here to be able to put it on. And it means I can kind of scatter my bling slightly differently. I've got, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got 2 different types of bling as well. So when I originally made these cards, the pearls that go with the set weren't available, so I had to just use what was in my bling basket. And as you know, those of you who come to craft here at my house, I have a large bling basket of little bits and pieces. So I fortunately had lots of other pieces that would coordinate that could go with it, but just putting them in a different place on the card straight away gives you a slightly different design and style, even though it is absolutely the same technique. So there you go. Okay, as this is speed crafting tonight, I'm going to give you a breather and do a little raffle prize draw there. So where have I put my cards? Over there. So let's get rid of those a minute. I'll leave these 2 here so you can see what I've done, and let's have a raffle prize. So prizes tonight are the Tools patterned paper. It's got a better name than that. It's called Trusty Toolbox, the Trusty Toolbox patterned paper. I've got a clear block, brand new clear block. Never have too many clear blocks in my experience, because, well, mostly because I lose them on my craft table. And I've also got some baker's twine, thick baker's twine, that is in Coastal Cabana. So nice summery colour, and also great for male crafting as well. So I've got those 3 items. So let's have a raffle ticket. They're all in the corner there. So first raffle ticket tonight is 589. If you're 589 and you're here, tell me what you would like. If you're 589 and you are on the replay, you have 1 month to claim your prize. So do still tell me, and tell me what you'd like if there is a choice left possibly. Oh, the sun's finally gone in here. It's starting to cool down a little bit, which is good. So anybody want to claim 589? I should find a pen. That would be helpful, wouldn't it, to write on. Oh, it's Liz. And can you off the paper? Of course you can. Absolutely, Liz. That paper is yours. That reminds me, actually, Liz, let me get some tape in it. I don't think I've got you down for coffee club this month. Is that correct? For next month, rather. For next week. Is that right? Because I haven't done you a pack. I'm hoping that's right, because you've probably told me that you're going away, or you've got loads of changeovers or something. I can't remember. Right, let's put those other 2 over there for later. There you go. Pattern paper is yours. So I was just thinking, when can I send that to you? Because I haven't got a coffee club to send to you. Okay. Anyway, that's just kind of an aside and an afterthought. How are people getting on? Are you keeping up? Are you doing every other? Give me some thumbs up or whatever. Got a very busy couple of weeks. I'm sure you said to me that was the case. I couldn't remember. And then when I was making them up, the kits up, I was like second guessing myself, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I've got it wrong, or yeah, brilliant. That's fine. Okie dokie. So I'm already gone out of order, so that's rubbish, isn't it? So that was card 6 and 7. So let's go back and do card 2, shall we? That would make a lot more sense. Let me find card 2. That would be a good starting point. Let me find, there's card 2. There's card 2. Sorry about that. I did promise I would do them in order, and then I immediately jumped around. That was very naughty of me. Anyway. There we go. So let's put those out of the way. Okay. Again, this one is lovely and easy. A single sheet of patterned paper, flat down straight onto the card, no 3D element or anything with the paper. I have 3D'd the sentiment, but I haven't 3D'd the patterned paper. Cut one single piece out and then cut it into 3. So really, really easy again. So let's do that, shall we? So we're going to need, it's landscape this time rather than portrait. Ooh. So let's get our card. This one, there it is at the back. Thought I hadn't got one for a minute. This colour. This colour is not very good on my colours tonight, am I? Let's have a look in the catalogue for a little prompt. I can't remember what colour's what, honestly. It's no good, is it? It's obviously Lost Lagoon, obviously. So this is one of the subtles. And yeah, Lost Lagoon, this colour. So really nice, actually, very pretty. So again, we are scoring and cutting the same way, but we're doing it landscape instead of portrait. So once we fold it, I mean. So short side at the top, we are scoring at 10.5. Turn it around, long side at the top, cutting at 14.9. So just the good old basic card base. Move that one to the side for a moment. Let's get that piece out of the way. So fold and crease it, just the same as before. But this time it's a 10th fold, so your crease is on the top because it's landscape, okay? And then let's find the relevant piece of patterned paper. So we are looking for that bit. The bit that looks a bit like, don't know what it looks like, heathland or something. I'm not sure really. If it's easier to find the back, it's got wild wheat and Lost Lagoon splodges, watercolour splodges on the back. But we're looking for the front bit that's got the little kind of ferns and types of grass and stuff on it. That heathland kind of look. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start by cutting some of the sky off and possibly some of the bottom as well, because I want that. I do want some sky, as you can see here. Like if I line it up with, I've kind of cut it about there, so I have cut a bit off the bottom and I've cut a bit off the top as well because I want some sky in it. And if I cut it from the top, I'm not going to get too much of the grass in, although you could if you wanted to, obviously. And if I cut it at the bottom, I'm going to get hardly any sky in. So I have actually chopped it through the middle. So I've cut a little bit off, like a little strip off the top to start with, and then I've taken my measurement. So that's what I'm going to do again. So I'm just going to slice like, I don't know, 1/2 inch or something off the top to start with. Save that bit again. And then I'm going for my length measurement. So it's 9.9 centimetres. Save that bit off the bottom. Nearly dunked it in my squash then. So you're left with that strip that is going to go across, that's like from the middle of the piece of patterned paper, okay? And then I need to cut 3 strips from it. So each of the strips, and you can either start one end or the other, whichever end you prefer. Each of the strips is 1 3/4 inches. We're back again, aren't we, to that old, the measurements not quite measuring up. So I'm just going to literally cut 1 inch. Did I just say 1 inch? 1 3/4 inches 3 times. So 1 3/4 inches. 1 inch and 3/4. Don't mix them up because you want them to still form a picture. And then your final one, 1 inch and 3/4. Save that little bit, put it to one side. So that's my 3 pieces. So you can see they still form they still make the picture. The clouds still join up. The bushes and the grasses at the bottom still join up. I'm going to take those off in the right order so I don't muddle them up, and then glue them to the card. And this, again, there's a little trick to this. So I'm going to fold it out so it's a bit easier to do. But you start with the piece in the middle, and then you will be assured that your strips either side have an equal surround in terms of an equal gap around them. But what you can also do is lie them down on the card first and kind of fiddle them around so that you're happy with their placing, and then stick that middle strip first, okay? So again, I'm going to use wet glue so I can wiggle it if I need to. And I'm going to put that one in the middle and make sure that I'm happy with that placement either side before I completely stick that one down. And then I'm going to do either side. We'll have a count up at the end as well, as this is speed crafting, of how many cards anybody has actually made. And that doesn't include sentiments and bling, by the way. I don't expect anyone to have done, if you've done some sentiments and bling as well, good gracious, but I don't expect people to have done sentiments and bling or any other extras. So we'll just have a count up and see how many people have managed at the end, all right? Whoop, stuck to my finger. There we go. Let's put that back in. So that is your patterned paper for card number 2 on your sheet. This is card number 2 on your instructions. If you're watching this incidentally on the replay and you would like a copy of the instructions, just email me or direct message me or what have you, and I will make sure that I send you a copy. Please don't put a comment in the chat, because it's very, very difficult to find on a live video afterwards. But if you want to message me afterwards to say that you would like a copy of the dimensions sent to you, then I will very happily email them to you. So just let me know if that's something that you would like. If you've not got you didn't order the kit, that's absolutely fine. Okay, how's that one going for everybody? How are we doing? How are we doing? Yeah, oh, got some thumbs up. This is good. Somebody's keeping up. That's wonderful. Good, 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 good. Okay, I will put that one to one side again so that you can see what the finished one looks like. In fact, I'll put it on top like that. That gives us a bit more space. The next one we're going to do is card number 3, and I want to show you this one first before we look at any measurements or anything, because it is a bit fancy and a bit different. So it's a whole image on the front of the picture and the pattern. I think it probably needs a bit more to it, this one, from what I've done. I probably need to add some bling and things to this one, but I don't really know why it hasn't. I probably at the time I thought it looked good plain, I expect, but I've changed my mind since. Anyway, when you open this one up, it's side steps, and you have the rest of the image on the inside, and there's a little bit of stamping along the bottom there as well. So you've got both there. Okay, so you've kind of got a beautiful inside image, and you've got that front cover as well when you fold it over, which is really nice. So there's a few different elements to this one. So we'll do this one a bit slower, and we'll all go together. Okay, so I'm going to get this one out the way again. So we need that other piece that we've just cut. So we need the other piece of card that we just cut that was Lost Lagoon. And then the piece of patterned paper that we need is this one. So it's got 3 like fir tree looking things, and you've got some purple flower clumps, and you've got some wild wheat flower clumps, and then you've also got these kind of like this like leaf thing in the like leafy plant in the foreground as well. So those are the bits that you need, but you also need one extra bit from your kit as well that we haven't used yet, and that is, can I get it out of mine? Oops, this bit. So this piece is the new basic beige colour that came in when the new catalogue came in, and that bit I think I'm pretty good. Yeah, I cut it to size for you, so that's great. So that piece is already cut to size for you. But we're not going to need this one straight away, but those are the 3 elements that you're going to need, okay? So we've already got our card base half scored, so we'll fold that over and crease it. Remember, it's the other half of the card that you just made. But then what we need to do, if I show you on my original one, look, you need to fold the front back on itself so that we've got somewhere to stick the patterned paper. Okay, so we're going to need to put this back in the scoreboard, and make sure you're scoring the front, or you're going to need to do a kind of turnaround to get the right bit, but you need to be scoring the front. Let's get the score piece at the top there. So your original score was 10.5, and you need to roughly go half again. I'm going to get it up the right way as well, so my trough's the right way around. So you're looking at kind of 5 and 5 1/4, roughly, very roughly. So the centimetres this is, obviously. 5 1/4 centimetres, roughly. And then what you'll do is you've got, so let me get which way around to do it, so it's that way around. So you've got your your extra score line down the front. So you can fold your card over again, and then you're going to fold it back on itself and crease it. Okay, so you've then got a card that looks like that. Sometimes looking down on it from the top is the easiest way to make sure you've got the right card. So it's a Z fold essentially, but your flappy bit is on the left hand side of the card, on the spine side of the card. Okay, so I'll leave that up there while I cut the patterned paper. Okay, so that you can then make sure that yours is going to be the right way round. So, oops, get the trimmer up the right way. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? So, once you've got that right, you're going to cut a piece of patterned paper that is 9.9 centimetres from, let me get this right. You're going to cut a piece that is 14.3 centimetres from top to bottom to start with. So you've got to work out, if you put it in the trimmer and that you're likely to chop the top of the trees off, then probably better that you turn the pattern paper around and chop the a bit off the bottom instead. So you want 14.3 centimetres. So cut that little strip off the bottom. Save that bit, remember, stick that to one side. And then the remaining piece, you want to cut to 9.9. So that it's now the right way up, and the right way up is portrait this time around. So it's portrait. So you're going to be cutting it off, and that will give you 2 trees on the one piece and 1 tree on the other piece. Okay? So I'm putting it in at 9.9 centimetres and chopping it up like that. Okay, so you've then got your 2 pieces of patterned paper, your Z-fold card base, and you've still got, remember, this plain piece. Let me get the actual card out of the way a minute. The plain piece of basic beige. Okay, so those are like your 3 components, if you like, or 4 components that you've got: pattern paper, card base, basic beige. Okay, so I'm going to start on the inside first. So you're going to take the smaller strip and we're going to stick it over the top of your basic beige. Now what I've done with my original one, if you have a look, is I've left a little strip inside so that it's just slightly offset from the edge. You can butt it right up to the edge if you prefer, whatever works for you. It really doesn't matter. But this is going flat down again, so I can use a bit of tape for this. So I'm going to use some seal for this. Now, if you were using really lovely birthday papers or Christmas papers or whatever for these designs, you could reel off a load of cards all in one go, even if you stuck to the same design. But if you had one pack of paper, you could easily make repeats of any of these 12 designs, and it'd be a great quick way to top up your stash, or to make Christmas cards or whatever you need to do, or Easter cards or whatever in the future. So once you've got that smaller piece of patterned paper stuck on, we're on the inside of the card. I'm just going to stick the whole of that bit of basic beige to the inside of the card. And then if you want to do some stamping like I did on mine, so I just did a couple of little flowers on the bottom, you could stamp them on that inside corner straight away. Okay. Then the remaining piece of patterned paper, we have to be careful where we put the glue or the tape or whatever, because we don't want the back of the patterned paper to get stuck to the card. We want it to be free floating so that it opens easily. Okay, so there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either put your piece of pattern paper on the card and then just make a little mark. In fact, if you turn it over, you can more easily make a mark about where you want that glue or tape to go and where you want it not to go. Or you can, I'm going to just draw a little line down because this is not going to be seen. So I know that I want the glue to go there. Or you can put the glue on that actual flap of the card. Let's have a bit of a tidy a minute and get things out of the way. Okay, so let me just go over that again. What I've done is I've lined up where I'm going to put that front piece, flipped it over, and then just marked top and bottom and drawn the line and marked where I'm going to put the glue, so I don't stick the glue on the whole piece of patterned paper, because trust me, I've done this and I've made a right mess with it, so, or the tape or whatever. So I'm just going to glue that portion, and then I can stick it down to the front. If it's not going to show, then I always think you know, there's no harm in marking it with a pen or what have you. If it means that you get it right and you don't make a mess, then, you know, you don't get everything all stuck together and what have you. It's well worth it. There we go. And then your piece of paper is not sticking, see? And then all I did with this one is I added a bit of a sentiment and that little bit of stamping inside. And again, like I said, I think I need to add a bit of bling probably to the front of this one. I think it needs something extra, I think. So that is number 3. So we'll stick that one there. In fact, I'll put the... Actually, if I open it up, you'll be able to see the inside and the outside. If I can stick the bone folder on there so that it kind of... All right. There we go. Okay. How are we doing? Everybody okay? Everybody hanging in there? Card number 4 is another simple one. One single piece of patterned paper, but chopped up. And this time, if you have a look at this one, they're different widths. So it's all the same height, but these strips are decreasing widths. So it just adds a bit of depth and interest to the picture. And I've also added a little bit of a die cut over the edge as well. So you can stick something extra over the edge if you want to on this design to kind of, again, to like pull those strips together if you want to. Okay, so again, this one is again a landscape. So it's a tent fold again with the crease at the top. So let's move that one out the way now. We'll have another breather again in a minute, and I'll do another raffle prize so you can catch up or what have you. So we're going to need, let me find the right piece. You're going to need this bit, which is a bit of an unusual pattern, I think, that one. It looks a bit weird, that one, because it's got this kind of like a reed bed or something at the top here, but then well, I mean, to me that looks like water, but the colours are all wrong, so I'm not really sure what that is at the bottom. It looks like a lake to me, looking towards the reeds, but I could be way off the mark, who knows. And you're also going to need your right, can we remember what colour this one is? Dreadful, aren't I, tonight on colours? Oh, I do know this. I'm going to kick myself when I see it in here. It is Cajun Craze, obviously. Cajun Craze is the colour card you'll need. So, same again, same as always. We're going to score at 10.5 on the short side and cut at 14.9 on the long side. Really easy. Put one of these to one side. Fold and crease your card base. And then you can put that to one side out of the way. And we're going to need to work on the pattern. So the first thing to say is you need to decide which bit of the paper you're going to use. So I chose to use that top bit because for me that's got more interest with the kind of reed bed arrangement going on. And I've chosen to use mainly this larger chunk of reeds rather than this smaller chunk. So when I'm cutting it down, I'm going to chop a bit of the smaller reeds off. So this corner is what I'm kind of looking at trying to get into the frame, if you like. That's my choice. You can do whatever you like. So first thing to do is I need to cut it down so that it's 3 inches. So all of these strips are 3 inches. So I'm just going to cut straight across at 3 inches. Save that extra bit, obviously. So that's my starting point, is 3 inches. And then depending on which end I'm going from, so let's do, why don't I do the other side this time for a change and see what difference it makes. So my first strip is 3/4 of an inch. So really tiny, really tiny. So 3/4 of an inch. And my next strip is 1 inch. Yep. Just need to make sure, like the other one, that you keep them in the same order, because otherwise the picture won't make sense when you put it together. The next one is 1 1/4. And then the final strip is 1 1/2 in all inches. There we go. Save that bit again. So let me go through those measurements again. So we've got 3 inches, so they're all 3 inches long. We've got 3/4 of an inch, 1 inch, 1 1/4 inches, and 1 1/2 inches. Okay, and all of that is on your sheet. And then you're just going to stick them to the card. So just the same principle as those previous panels that we put on. If you line them up first on your card so that you've got the same gap in between each of the strips, then you will know that it will look right when you finally then stick them down. So I need to shuffle these along a little bit because the gap isn't quite the same. I'm just going to shuffle them about so that I've got a similar gap. It's not going to be perfect, but a similar gap either end before I start sticking them. And then I can tape them or glue them or whatever you want to do. Once you've started with one and you know you're fairly confident you've got one in the right place, then you can just sort of shuffle them along and glue them down, and that will be fine. But again, this would look lovely if you have a nice, autumn or Christmas or birthday scene that you can chop up into your different panels. You can make your panels whatever size you want to. We've done one with 3 that were the same size. We've sliced them where they're kind of gradually going smaller. If you remember, quite a long time ago, we did the variegated panel card, which is exactly the same principle, but we started with the biggest chunk in the middle, the biggest slice in the middle, and then gradually got smaller either side as we went out. That's still my most popular card on YouTube. So if you go on my YouTube channel and look for variegated panel, if you like this kind of card, that is still my most popular video, so my most watched video on my YouTube channel. So there you go. It's obviously effective because lots of people want to make it. And then for this one, what I've done is I've put my sentiment on pads so that I could poke my die cut behind, as I've often do. So I've put the sentiment on pads in order to be able to poke that die cut behind and make it kind of pull that image all together. Okay. So that's card number 4. We're speeding along. Let's have another raffle prize so that you've got time to take a bit of a breather and I've got time to slurp my squash and what have you. Let's have another raffle prize a minute. So we've got left a clear block and some twine. Let's have one out of the corner here. They're all tucked on top of each other. Let's have that one. It is number 580. So if you're 580, let me know and I will, and let me know what you'd like. and I can give you a prize. My ice cubes are melting in my squash and it's made my coaster really wet. It's probably going to start dripping on my cards soon as I bring my squash across. That'd be just right, wouldn't it? So yeah, if you're 580 and you're here tonight, let me know what prize you want. Do you want the block or do you want the twine? If you are watching on the replay, also, oh, can you have the twine? It's Mum and Evelyn. Yes, you absolutely can. Mum and Evelyn. Okie dokie, fabulous. There you go. That is yours. You can have that on Friday when I see you next. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, speeding along here. How's everybody doing? Are you all okay? Are you still sane? Or are you, is the speed driving you crazy? Or have you reverted to watching? Have you done one card and then given up? How is everybody doing? Where are you in the process? While I find the next card that we're going to make. This is a nice one. I like this card. This is one of my favourites out of the whole set, I think, actually. You're taking it in turns to make. Oh, there you go. You need a craft buddy, obviously, for speed crafting. That's a great idea. What a good idea. Yeah, so that you're kind of doing every other, aren't you, then? That's a good plan. So this time, you're going to need your Misty Moonlight card, which is one of the few A4s we've still got left. And you're going to need this one, which is similar to the one that we've just done. It's the same kind of design, but different colours. So if you're looking for the back of it, it's the one with the purple and blue splodges on the back. And that's what you're going to need. You are going to need 3D pads for this one. You are going to need 3D pads. So if you need to find your dimensionals, now's the time to go and dig about. Marion's quite tired, so she's going to drop out. She's got the set. Yeah, you have, haven't you? Of course you've got the papers. So lots of good ideas. Brilliant, cool. Well, I hope you feel less tired tomorrow. Enjoy the rest. I know you had your lovely grandchildren today and it was very hot when I saw you, so I'm sure you probably are exhausted. I know I am. Okay, so let's pop that one to one side. Same as always, score on the short side at 10.5. And cut on the long side at 14.9. Okay, put one out of the way because we only need one. And we've got our patterned paper. So we're going to fold and crease. This time it's going to be a portrait card. So this time it will be portrait, that way up. And again, we're going to chop the paper down, but we need to make sure that we include all of the image that we want to include, okay? So from a top to bottom perspective, because we are actually going to use pretty much all of the paper, but we want to make sure that when you put it in the trimmer now, that you chop off the bottom, not the lovely kind of ferny stuff at the top, all right? So we're chopping the bottom off. And the measurement that we want is, we want first layer size, so it's 14.3. So it's just a little sliver off the bottom. Save that. And then we're going to decide which bits, now let me show you on the card. You want to decide first which bit do you want on this side, on the top, and which bit do you want underneath. And the logical way round to do that is to say this side is the left-hand bit, which is on the top, and this side is the right-hand bit, which is on the bottom. But what that means is, I know this sounds a bit bonkers, in order to cut it right, you're going to need to turn your image upside down. Yep, upside down. And then you're cutting at 9.9. Okay? Because then when you turn it back, that piece goes across the whole of the card front, which is what you want, because your second piece is going to layer on top. Okay, so let me show you what I did again, just briefly. So the piece looked like that to begin with. So I turned it all the way around to go in the trimmer, so that this piece that I cut off, the bigger piece, was 9.9. But the bigger piece is from the right hand side of the patterned paper. So I hope that makes sense. And then you are going to stick the bigger piece flat down first. So let's do that bit first, flat down. Flat down on your card front. And then this piece, the smaller piece, needs 3D pads on the back of it so that you elevate it and it's raised. Let me find it. I'm sure I had some 3D pads on the go. No, we did use rather a lot last week, to be fair, at Kempsford. So I'll get a new, let's have a new sheet. So yeah, dimensionals on your smaller bit. And if you're using individual pads like I am, then make sure you use enough that you don't sag in the middle, because you do not want your image to sag in the centre. And you're going to line that up directly over the top of that first piece of patterned paper that you've put down. So it just gives you that lovely kind of 3D effect. I love this. Hello, Amber. Hello, hello, hello. Just got home, so probably won't be stopping for long. And Chris says hi too. Hello, Chris. Hello, Amber. Fabulous. Yeah, we're on... Well, by the time we finish this, we'll have done 7 cards. Can you believe it? So we are going great guns at the moment. And I think the next one is a double one again. So we've actually only got kind of a couple of cards left to go. So that's good. But I'm glad you could join us even for a bit. There's only one raffle prize still to pull, I'm afraid. All the others have been claimed. So we'll see. There's one to claim. So there you go. So you've got your flat piece of pattern paper, and then you've got your 3-dimensional strip on top. All right. There we go. Let's put that one to one side a moment. We've done cards 6 and 7. We're going to do card 8 and 9 next, because well, we're going to do one of the 8 and 9 because I really want to show you it, because I really like this design and it's super clever. So it's either that one or that one. It's your choice. And we've got our piece of card that we've already cut in half. Got a glue stuck to my elbow. Hold on a minute while I just remove that from me. Stick it on the inside of the bin there a minute. There we go, it's better. Only one raffle prize, I know. Yeah, to be fair, even if you'd started at the same time, you'd still only have done one. That's okay. That's okay. It's all good. That's the joy, and this is what I was saying about this particular session. That's the joy of it, is you can come back to it again and again and again. You've got the printout on the email of the measurements, so you can come back to this and use other papers as many times as you want to. Be completely up to you. And Amber, you just missed at the beginning. I was saying that these papers are in the sale from next Tuesday. They're $9.99 from Tuesday. So if you love them, then you can get them cheaper from next week. Okay, So we're going to do this one now. So these both are the same, and they are a single piece. So a quarter of a sheet of A4. They're not a card that opens. It's just a single sheet of card, because it's the actual patterned paper itself that opens up. Haha, like that. It's like a peekaboo card. So you can put the punched shape wherever you want it to go, or you can obviously die cut the hole wherever you want to. And yes, you stamp through the hole. Okay, so it's a single layer. This is a really quick one to do, so I'll show you this one. It's really quick. So you've already got it scored actually, so you just need to cut down the score line. So you're cutting through at 10.5 so that you've got 2 individual pieces. And choose your patterned paper, and then you are going to cut, let's do that one. You're going to cut it to first layer size. So remember again, except for this time, you're not going to cut the top off. So it's only first layer size, excuse me, across the width of the card. So it's 9.9, but don't cut the excess off the top. Save that bit of strip, you want that. Don't cut the excess off, because what you're going to do is you're going to score the excess away, because that's what you're going to fold. Okay, so you're cutting it at 9.9, but you're scoring it at 14.3. So let's get that one out of the way a minute. So you've cut it at 9.9, but scored it there at 14.3, and then you fold over that score line, and that is the bit that is going to be then attached to your card front to make the opening. Okay, but before you attach it, you need to punch your hole. So for this one, I wanted the punched hole shape to be in the space. So with it folded over, so that I get my punched shape down nice and deep into the card, just going to punch that hole out. Save that bit, remember. And there you've got your punched hole, which you're then going to stamp through the hole. Remember, stamp through the hole. So I'm going to just put a bit of glue across the top there to adhere it to the card. Fold it back down, line it up so that you've got the same border all the way around, and stick it down. And then when you are stamping your sentiment, it is worth putting something on the bottom so that you don't get any, or don't get too much bounce back from the paper, so that when you then stamp, you're going to stamp cleanly through the hole. Because if you let that kind of bounce around and you're trying to get your stamp through the hole, the chances are you're going to get some ink around the edge of the hole, which is obviously not what you want. So make sure when you're stamping your sentiment that you are firmly, the paper is firmly down, so you get as minimal bounce back as possible. And then you can just stamp through the hole. So what you can do if you've got photopolymer stamp that you're looking at is put the stamp through the hole first before you ink it up, just to make sure that it's going to actually fit in that space and you're happy with it. And then obviously you've got a space for writing your message inside the card. So that's that one. And the alternate, I just punched the hole at the bottom, that's all. That's the only difference. So either punch the hole at the top or punch the hole at the bottom. And at Christmas, when I do my mini makes, which I know you all love, using all the leftover bits and pieces from your stash, we're going to do this one again, but we're going to be using 12 by 12. I'll show you a whole different way to do it using 12 by 12 paper. So So that one is really easy and effective, really easy and effective. And a great way to show, I mean, like all of these cards really, showcase the paper. So if you've got beautiful papers like these are, and you really don't want to kind of chop up the images, you don't want to lose the image, you can still create a great layout and a design element without losing the actual image itself, which is brilliant, because that's what you want. So that was card 8 and 9. Card 10 is really simple, so I'm not even going to make it. Card 10 is stamping. This bit here is stamped on top of the patterned paper. Just stamped straight on top of the patterned paper. Now, the trick for stamping straight on top of the paper is to get an ink that coordinates with the colours that you've got in the paper. So for me, I've gone with the darkest green. So this is a mossy meadow green. Second element to think about is to make sure that you've got a coordinating ink for your sentiment as well, so that it all ties together. And the third thing is to choose an image that you're going to stamp that is like an outline image, but doesn't have too much detail, because it will get lost in amongst the background. So you want an image that enables you to see the background, but isn't too fussy that you're going to then lose either the image or the paper when you coordinate, when you combine the two together. Okay, so that's just a piece of patterned paper that's first layer size. So just cut to first layer size on your instructions and stamped on top and then brought together, and my sentiment is on pads. So I'm not even going to make that one because that's too simple for you guys. Way too simple. We've got 2 more to go. We are nearly there. Card 11. Card 11 is the stack, slice and shuffle. So again, you could easily make multiples of these without any effort whatsoever. So your final piece of cards that you've got in your kit is the beautiful lilac card, which again, let's make you do the work this time. So what colour is this? Because I can't remember. I'm not doing very well tonight, Amber, on my colours, so you tell me what colour is it, anybody? It's from the Subtles. So we're scoring at 10.5, just the same as we have done before on the short side, and cutting at 14.9 on the long side. Any guesses as to what colour it is? Because as soon as I hear it, I will know that it is right. Fold and crease. Fresh freesia. Hurrah! Mum wins the prize. Only it's a virtual one this time, I'm afraid. You are correct. It is fresh freesia. Well done. I'm glad somebody else remembered, not just me. Okay, so we need, what colour paper? Patterned paper. That patterned paper for this one. This patterned paper. So again, you need to just work out to begin with, which bit of the image do you want? Do you want this side? Do you want that side? Which bit do you want first? That's the first thing. And then you are going to be cutting your patterned paper now. 1 7/8 times 2. What is that? What's 1 7/8 times 2? I know. We'll do it the easy way. Oh, it was. Hey, that was me, as in Evelyn. Oh, well done, Evelyn. Well, you should know. You get to see all this stuff all the time. Do you know how I'm going to do this actually to make it easy? I'm going to cut it twice. I'm going to cut 1 7/8 twice. Don't know why I didn't think of that really before. So it's. Let's cut the top bit off first because I don't want. No, won't. What am I doing? 3 inches, 1 7/8. Yeah, no, yeah, let's do that. Let's cut 1 7/8 first. That's my one bit. And 1 7/8 again. That's your spare bit. Don't chuck it away, save it. Okay, so that's your 2 strips. And then you are going to cut from the same end each time. So I'm going to cut from the bottom because I want more of the plants in and less of the sky, okay? So this first little corner is 2 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to put that there so I don't forget where it goes. So 2 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. So 2 1/8 of an inch. That's that bit there. And then the top bit is 3 1/4. So 3 2/8. So 3 1/4. Don't chuck that bit away. You can do something exciting with it. And then remember which end you started with your cutting. So I need to start from the bottom. Otherwise, the pattern, the picture won't align. It won't line up again. So again, starting at the bottom, 3 1/4, because it's the same, remember, as the opposite side. 3 1/4. And my final measurement is 2 1/8. 2 1/8. Save that bit. You'll be able to make something with it, I promise. There we go. And then all you need to do again, just the same as we've done before, I'm just going to open it out so that you don't get any bounce back, is just lining them up so that they make sense. So your top edges line up, your bottom edges line up, and your side edges line up. And all I've done on this one is stamp the sentiment directly onto the card, which, as you can see, I bodged because I've got ink around the edge, so I probably would do that sentiment again, actually, if I was going to do that again. Just be careful when you're stamping that you don't get ink everywhere like I did. So let's stick those down, making sure that all those edges and gaps are even. Edges and gaps, edges and gaps. There we go. There we go. So that's your 4-panel card, which, like I said, is the same as the stack and shuffle that we did. I think it was last Christmas, might have even been Christmas before. So you can layer up card and do patterned paper and do multiples of this. And then if you haven't got a complete window image, you could shuffle them around if you've got patterns or colours or what have you to create that layout. Which brings us finally to card number 12. So let's have a quick breather and our final raffle ticket. It's for a clear block and it is number 587. Anybody got 587? 587. Tell me now if you have 587, because this is your clear block. I will stick your raffle ticket on it anyway, and if anybody wants to claim it, feel free. Okay, I think that's me. I need to check, but it's in the drawer again. I have hundreds. It's okay, you're allowed another one. Don't forget, clear blocks are really good for other things other than stamps as well. So you can mix inks on here for watercolouring. You can use them for the the block background technique, where you put ink on the block with a water painter and then actually stamp using the block. Lots of other things that you can do with clear blocks as well. So if you've got an abundance of clear blocks, then there's still lots of things that you can do with it. Check your numbers, Amber, and let me know. And if it's yours, then it is here waiting for you. Okay, final card. Number 12 is this one, the folded corner card. So you've already got your card base ready to go because we cut it earlier. Fold it in half and crease it. Okay. And then this is the only one I'm going to have to measure because I haven't put it on the instructions. So I will measure how far down, 2 inches. I had a feeling it was 2 inches. So we're going to crease 2 inches down the edge here, okay? So in order to do that, we are going to need to measure and put a tiny, tiny little mark, which is then going to go, it's going to end up underneath your crease. You're really welcome. Okay. So it's yours, so draw it again. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to go 2 inches down and put a tiny little mark. And that is where we're going to score, okay? So we're going to score from that top crease corner down to that 2-inch mark. So you're going to need to line it up in the trough so that you've got that corner, the corner of the fold in the top of the trough, and that 2-inch, the 2-inch mark. And you might have to wiggle it around like I've had to do a bit because it will move as you move one end, the other end moves. But that's where you're scoring, okay? So you've then got that little triangle in the top corner there, and then you're folding it over, and there you go, okay? Oops, get the right bit out of the way. Then you need to cut your paper. So we're going to do the same as we've done before. So we're cutting a first layer size, so 14.3. So I'm going to take a bit off the bottom because that looks a bit less interesting to me than the lovely sky. Save that bit for a bit of scrappy stripping. And 9.9. Save that bit, that'll make a lovely bookmark or something, or a gift tag or something. So once you've got your first layer size, there we go, look, first layer size, then you need to do the same thing again with your corner piece there, okay? So let's just measure how far down that patterned paper is, and it's 1 3/4 inches. So we want to make a mark again. This time it's got to be, ooh, where's my ruler? It's got to be really light this time because you don't want it to show on the patterned paper too much. So I might even be tempted to go a little tiny bit up from there. So just mark it really faint, 1 3/4 inches down the side. But the same thing again, you're going to go from that corner, so top left corner, to the mark that you've made, but this time you're cutting it. Okay, make sure you get that corner right in the trough so that it's going to cut that angle really sharply, and you're cutting it down like that, okay? And then what's really clever is you're going to flip it over, and that's going to become the flap. So it starts out like that, and you're going to fold it over, and that's going to be stuck over the top of your card. I will show you. So there's your card base. This piece is going to go underneath. You'll need to butt it right up to the line so that you get a nice border around the outside. You might even need to trim it if you're, like mine obviously hasn't been completely square cutting, so you might need to trim it off. That's okay because it's going to be under the flap, so we can afford to cut a little bit off there. Just a tiny little sliver. That's going to be fine because it won't show. So you pop that right up underneath, and then that's going to fold over, and then this piece is going to stick on there. And again, if you want to trim that edge so that it's neater and so that it gives you a bit of a border, then do feel free to be at liberty to do that if you want to. If you haven't got your cutting completely true, then that's a good way to be able to kind of fix it, adjust it, and you know, kind of get that just right. And that is card number 12. So I'm not going to bother to stick that down a moment. I'll draw another raffle ticket as Amber's been so generous. Have that block back and get rid of that one. Let's see if we can find somebody else in here. Ooh, what's that one in there? Hidden in the middle. 588. Anybody got 588 in the room? If not, it's probably someone who's told me they're going to watch on the replay. So Sally or Bernie or somebody like that. But if you've got 588, let me know, because the clear block is yours. I will stick that one together afterwards. Okay. Right, let me just flip the camera back around again. Sorry, a bit of a view of my my weight there, which is my dishwasher tablet. Very technical here, you know. Let's just screw the camera stand together so it doesn't fall over. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't too much of a whistle-stop tour of 12 different layouts. You know, the intention was not that you all make all of 12 of them completely tonight, obviously, as I explained at the beginning. So hopefully you'll have got a few done. If you have got a few done, stick in the chat how many you did. I'd love to know, that would be great. If you're watching on the replay, let me know what you think. If you get stuck with any, do let me know as well. And yeah, hopefully everyone's had a fun evening tonight. It's incredibly hot here still. I think it is supposed to cool down towards the weekend, so which might be quite pleasant actually for a bit. But yeah, so what else have I got to tell you? I have got one thing to tell you actually. I've got one other thing to share with you. These designs, the what's it called? Can't remember. Whatever the papers are called. Oh dearie me, my memory tonight. Not doing very well, am I? Thoughtful Journey. Thoughtful Journey. Also comes as Memories and More cards as well. So Memories and More cards are what we use often for scrapbooking, but they also make really great instant cards where you can just kind of add a bit of bling to them. So there's loads and loads. You get a big pack and each card comes as a double. Some of them have got writing on them, some haven't. So some have already got their sentiments on there. Some of them are just plain. Some of them have got a place. You're welcome, Dee. Some of them got a place to put a sentiment. So if you love the designs, but you're thinking, do you know what, I could really do with something that's just a bit quicker and easier to make, then maybe these are for you. Liz managed 10 with sentiments and bling. Wow. I am really impressed. Well done. Well done. That's fantastic. And love to the baby alpaca. Enjoy. Bye-bye. Well done. That's amazing. Yeah, so lots of them have got really pretty images, but ones that some of them have got words, sentiments and things on the back. Some of them, like this one, has got like a double top and bottom, so you could slice it across the middle and use both sides perhaps. But so if you really love the designs but you're thinking, oh, I just need something quick and easy, then maybe these are the answer. I've really enjoyed making a pack of these from the Memories and More cards, and you get quite a lot in the pack, so they're worth a look at as well. Okay, that's everything I need to tell you. Monthly email is out tomorrow morning, so do have a good read, and if there are workshops on there that you're interested in, please book up. I'm off on holiday for a couple of weeks, so I might miss people's emails and booking and stuff, so if you want to come to something, please let me know straight away, and then I can get you on my list. Wonderful. I apologise, we're 15 minutes over tonight, but I hope you've had a good fun evening, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.